What's up, everybody? This review, we're taking a look at, I guess you could say, a little bit of a controversial figure in his price point. But here we have the Maximum Series Spider-Man from Marvel Legends. So, again, I guess when they announced the new Maximum line, everybody was curious, what's the price going to be? Um, what we're getting new? Is it worth it? That sort of thing. Um, I'll go through everything and hopefully it'll help you decide on whether it is worth it for you or not. It's always going to be up to that individual person on whether it is worth it or not. But as always, I hope I can help out. And here he is in that packaging. We got the Maximum Series. You got all the accessories. We got quite a bit of hands, different head sculpts, some webbing. You can see the spider sense in there. Nice window packaging. You got the side. You got the back. You got the other side here. Get that front again. Now let's get them open and check them out. All right, so here is Maximum Spidey outside of the packaging, and I think it looks pretty awesome. I was just from like the promo pictures and stuff like that. I was pretty much a big fan of the head sculpt, the masked head sculpt. I think the eyes are kind of what I really like Spider-Man to look like. I do like that shape. Of course, his shape is going to be artist dependent, and that might be influence how much you like it or not, because you might like a different artist's design. It might be something that you grew up with, that sort of thing. So that might be one way that it influences someone buying this figure. But I think it looks pretty cool, just, initially looking at them like that. For accessories, we've got this little web, like spreading out, like he's shooting it out and it's starting to net, which the sculpt looks really nice. It's just molded in this white plastic, kind of like a pearl. But there's a lot of detail in there. There's no dry brushing or anything to bring out that detail, but there's a lot in there. So could look a lot cooler. You get these two like whipping ropes, very loose. You can see the end there. Yeah, the ropes. You got his shield. Now this one's got a little bit of a wash in there. A little bit of a dark gray, and it's kind of bringing out some of those details. I don't know that I would have went gray or not. I don't know. But you can see a lot more. Something like that on the ropes or something would have been really nice. You get this little web ball that he's shooting at. Could have used some, again, there's detail in there. Just nothing to help bring that out. Get a little stand. A little clear stand, probably for this little whip in action, shooting that across. A lot like he's pretty much like to me, he's like a Marvel versus Capcom Spidey. With the spider shield, and you got that, and you might as well say, maximum spider. So you get another head sculpt. The eye shape's just a little different. You can see that there. The webbing is done nicely on it. Looks like the right eye is just a little bit, his right is just a little bit smaller than this one. Kind of trying to give it a different expression. I think they could have emphasized that a little bit more. Shrink it just a little bit more. So that's like really, really noticeable. That is kind of giving you a little side eye, weird eye. You got the Spidey sense, which looks really cool. Nice clear plastic with those little red on there. I like it. Only on one side, really. So you'll see which side faces out. You've got these wall crawling hands. I love these hands. These are some of my favorite hand sculpts that they do for Spidey. Love these. You got web shooter hands, so you can see underneath. They're not hinged or anything like that, which they look pretty cool. Just the hands look really big. I think they should have been a little bit smaller. The sculpt is nice though. Yeah, the hands definitely should have been smaller. Nice silver mold in there and paint. You get the thwipping hands, so really cool. Got a hand with that in there. And then you get this one here, shooting out the larger web. Regular thwipping hand, nothing plugged in there. Semi-thwipping hand. And two grasping hands, one for each side. Probably for those ropes. Paint looks good. Line work looks good. You get this alternate head, which I am not a fan of. That he just looks weird to me. I think they're trying to go for some artist design. I've seen pictures of it, like maybe what they might be going for. I don't think we really know what they were going for, but I don't think they nailed it if it's the picture that I've seen online. Yeah, not for me. So I don't know what I'll do with that one. Definitely won't be using that head sculpt. And it's got the nice hair, got the eyes and everything like that. It's just not what I envision Peter to look like. So, and then we got Spidey himself. All right, so for Spidey himself, I think he looks really cool. Mine does have pretty good paint all the way around. I don't see anything too off. Again, I like this eye sculpt here. Pretty much gonna leave him like this. Nice spider symbol. I am more of a fan of the sharper edges for the legs, but that's okay. I think this is really nice. Get the red and blue. Again, the line work looks good. His frame looks good. I think he's, really nice. Very cool. For articulation, he is ball peg up top, I believe. And then there's like a slight hinge. So you do got the hinge. I do love that. Glad they did that. Just use the disc. I love it. I don't like them trying to hide it or cut out a piece of the head or anything like that. Trying to give him range of motion like that works good. Like he's looking up really good. Looks down really well. Got him looking way down. Of course that looks a little odd, but whenever you're looking at him from certain poses, you won't see it. Which is most articulation. You get the ball at the neck. Not as much tilt. Let's see. T pose. Slightly past T. Butterfly joints that move really well. Look how far back that's going. Forward. And of course, with that joint in there, you can get across the body, which is really nice. That's awesome. Love that. Upper bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. Get peg and hinge, all that stuff in your wrist. You also got a cut up here, upper forearm, which is nice. The ab section, you get a diaphragm cut. And I love this articulation with the diaphragm cut and the ab crunch. Something I loved in like the Lightning collection. Really nice. No waist cut in there. So you're going to get your rotation from the upper, from the diaphragm. Then you get drop down legs. Leg goes forward about that far. Upper thigh cut, double jointed pinless knees, upper calf cut, hinge pivot, everything in the ankle, toe joint. I'm not the biggest fan of toe joints. I never was, not even like Toy Biz days or anything like that. I didn't need articulated individual fingers or toe joints. They're like points of failure for me over time. Yeah, this guy moves really nice. Look at him all balled up. Just flying through the air. He spreads out. So yeah, nice articulation. Look at how that knee goes. Let me get him into, or grab a couple of these extra accessories and keep posing them. All right, so does he get way down there? He does. He kind of gets really far down in that pose, you know. Get his toes there, head up, fingers on the ground. Looks really nice. Do you want him perched on his toe joints? His hands come close to the ground, not quite. But you know, you get him posed on the, just kind of really crouched, not all the way down. A little whipping hand. Really nice. Of course, you got your other whipping hand. The other hand that I was just showing kind of looks a little more like the webbing is spreading out to kind of be more for this one, I believe. This hand, you can see the webbing is a little bit closer. And probably going to tighten up so he shows that he's shooting that out. Could have all kinds of fun with this guy. Pretty nice. And I do, again, I think of Marvel versus Capcom, that sort of thing. When he's blocking, he has his little shield going. And that's pretty much where this one's going to go. He's definitely going to like a Marvel versus Capcom shelf. What else we got? We got the Peter hit. And I thought it was going to look really, really big on the body. It's not that bad. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to look super huge. Does it look a little big? Sure. Ooh, and when you're changing these hands out, instead of just a peg there, I didn't even think about it. It's that upper forearm part. So that's not really done often. So definitely got to watch out for that. All right. So just getting that one on there, you could really see how large that hand is. Really big. Right. Just this part looks okay to me. Just the hand should have been shrunken down. I don't know what's up with that. They're massive. But I think lengthwise, maybe it's probably still okay. Maybe they could shrink the whole thing down. But definitely the hand portion of it is really, really large. That's like, makes me think of old Beast, like original Beast. When he's human form, he had the giant hands, the giant feet. It reminds me of his hands for some reason. That's what it makes me think of on top of my head. Yeah, this one could be shrunken down too, but it's harder to notice because it's more posed up versus this one. I feel like, should be grabbing handlebars like Beast. Pretty crazy. I think I'm gonna leave. Hopefully I'm not getting these mixed up. I don't know if there's like a left or right. Probably. You can tell by the angle. Yeah, it's like a slight angle. Take that head off because I'm never going to use it. This one back on. My favorite one. Again, I don't really need this one. Same one, just different. Slightly in that one eye. We'll throw on Spidey Sense. So Spidey Sense looks awesome. And it's a tension piece. So you just slide it over. Maybe something's coming over the shoulder at him. Who knows? But it looks good, especially when you got like a really nice light on it, I guess. Even I guess if there's no light, it really does. I guess because of the red, it just really looks like it's just hovering there. I like that. That's a really nice effect piece. Probably my favorite effect piece in there. Really cool. So for my first comparison, we've got I'll call him the animated Green Goblin. This is the Norman. I got the Norman head on him. I keep the masked head normally in his hand or like at his feet in display. And then here is Mary Jane. I believe she came in the 2-pack. But you can see Mary Jane's just slightly taller than Spidey. And Spidey and this Green Goblin are about the same height. This Green Goblin doesn't have nearly as much articulation as that Spider-Man does, which is pretty cool. It'd be nice to get like more figures with the diaphragm and ab crunch. I think it should start becoming the standard. Even if they don't get super dynamic like that, I want them to be the standard because I think it should be left up to the person whether you need it or not when you're posing. You'll probably get some real cool posing with some figures you never imagine, or like when you're in a scene, maybe you just need to push it just a little bit more to make it more dynamic. So I think that should be the standard. All right, so here is Spidey next to a whole bunch of other ones. I got a ton of Spider-Man figures when you start looking at it. I don't know, like this is just a few that I could grab. But I'm sure if I only keep a couple on display, if I kept digging, I'm sure I'd find more. But and here he is next to Cyborg Spider-Man. I love this look. I love the comic book cover. And then, I don't know, something about it. The colors just really pop at me. I do like the lighter blues. I prefer Spider-Man to have the lighter blues. So if they make this Spider-Man in like a lighter blue, I'll definitely pick it up. But here he is next to the newer Scarlet Spidey. Of course, the Cyborg Spidey. This is like a scene from the 90s cartoon where everybody's showing up. You got Ben, you got Armored Spidey, you got Doc Ock Spidey, the Superior Spidey, you got Spider Shot. Of course, you got the animated one. This is an older black suit one. I know I got the newer one somewhere around here. But yeah, I think I even got another armored one. I'm pretty sure there's another one. That one looks really tiny for some reason. But diaphragm, ab crunch, bigger body, no diaphragm cut, but looks cool. I like the colors on him. He looks nice. Bulkier than our Spidey, about the same height maybe. I think they're all starting to run about the same height. Uh, Scarlet Spidey, thicker body. I believe he also has the diaphragm ab crunch. Ben Riley, slimmer body. Um, Diaphragm ab crunch. Close to this one, but not quite. He has the bigger thighs, double jointed elbows that are pinless, but it's not like the diaphragm crunch and diaphragm and ab crunch are something new because like this one has it. So does the Scarlet Spidey. They have the body. They just slimmed it up a little bit more here to make it a little more, I guess, thinner. I guess some people like it like this. Some people like Spidey really tiny, skinny, super skinny. I guess it's your preference on how you want your Spidey to look, honestly. But we got pinless. This head sculpt looks a little small on the body now that I'm looking at it, just slightly. This one looks pretty proportionate. You got Superior, about same height, maybe a little bit taller, but older body, so just ab crunch. I think he could hit some pretty good poses still. Butterfly joints. I mean, that was a nice figure. You got this armored Spidey. I think this is from like the game. He's tiny compared to our new Spidey. It just doesn't really hold up compared to him. Still looks cool. I like seeing that armored suit, but could be done better. And again, I can't remember if there's another one out there. If there is, I might have it stashed somewhere. Spider Shot. I love this one. I like the design. The design is cool. He could hit some amazing poses. He got that diaphragm ab crunch. He looks awesome. Pinless. Good figure. I like this figure a lot. Even like the menacing little eyes. But pretty much the same joint system as this guy, just designed differently. So nothing super crazy on the new one compared to older ones. It's not like we haven't had anything close to it. It's not super groundbreaking. My favorite Peter head sculpt, I guess. The animated look is the animated Spider-Man. He didn't have the diaphragm cut, so I was disappointed in that. I do see Peter like that a lot, though. I leave him in my display like that. Maybe it's because I watched the animated series so much when I was little. Um, that's just kind of how I see him. I got maybe like 2 or 3 versions of Peter in my head. This animated one and make 2 from the comics of how I kind of see him. So if you can get close to that, then I like it. I think the head sculpt that came with show those real close. If I can get it to focus. Yeah, I think that animated one looks way better. This is kind of creepy. But it looks nice. And then maybe we'll get a black suit on that newer body. That would be nice. Be pretty cool. About the same height. So yeah, that's pretty good Spidey comparison, I think. All right. So overall, I like the Spider-Man. I think it's a pretty cool figure. I don't really need all of the accessories. So most of them I pretty much won't use or don't care for. I don't like the alternate head sculpt so much. I don't really need if the alternate hands, the web shooter hands, the ungloved hands were smaller. Maybe I would use those a little bit more. But yeah, right now I probably won't even mess with those. Um, so I guess with that said, I mean, the sculpt is nice, the articulation is nice, but even though I really like it, I don't think it was worth that price point to me. I think it was a bit too much. It wasn't a super crazy, as you saw with some of the other figures we got. It wasn't like some brand new technology or something like that, or articulation, stuff that we've gotten, and stuff that I feel like at this point kind of needs to be normal. Um, I don't know where they got the price point from, but I'm not into that smaller stuff. The details like that. I'm not a company. I know they got to make money, but for me, I think this was overpriced. But I am happy to have this in my collection. I've been collecting figures for a very, very long time, and I just remember back in the day. I don't know. Do y'all remember that McFarlane Spidey from a long time ago? That figure was over 100. If you missed it, which I think most people probably weren't collecting back then, and having to backtrack something like that, I mean, I started kind of getting flashbacks with this guy a little bit. Like, man, if you miss it, I don't want to play the waiting game, because even though I did want to add it and hopefully at like a lesser price point, I just didn't want to miss it myself and end up in a situation like that, paying even more for this figure. It is probably, I think, the best Spider-Man I have in my collection, so that's awesome. But I don't think it was worth that price point. I could deal with a couple hands and the Spidey sense and be all right. It is going to be dependent on you. Some people have other Spideys that are like their main Spideys, and this one, may not have piqued them enough to pick it up. Again, it's not. I don't think it's that crazy of a change, but it's up to each individual person. I do think it's pretty good for some of my figures, like upgrade. Of course, not the most drastic upgrade, but it is upgrade. And those eyes, I think this is a pretty good look. Do I think it's my perfect Spidey? Not really. Close, but not really. I could keep the same body and just lighten up that blue. I'll pick it up. I think that would, I'd like that a little bit more. And if they do decide something like that, I wonder what that kind of price point would be. The mold's already there. So I am curious about that sort of thing. How would they change it? What would the changes be? But a lighter blue, yeah, I'd like it more than this, I think. But for now, I do think this is probably the best Spider-Man figure out there. I know some people probably like the Mayfix stuff, but I do like this one a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's just really cool. So, yeah, it really is dependent on you and your situation. If you don't have a Spidey and you start out with this, you're probably not going to need another one for a while. Hopefully, unless you're like me, wanting a lighter blue. But you may not need another one for a good little while. You'd have to make some pretty good improvements. But if you've already got something like Renew Your Vows or something like that, or something close to this, it may not, interest you to come get this one. So, yeah, it really does depend on your situation. For me, I still think, just looking at it as a figure and what they offer, I don't think it's worth the price point. But I do think it's worth having in the collection, if that makes sense. So, I mean, maybe play the waiting game. I don't know. It's totally up to you. I just hope I showed you enough that maybe it'll help you make up your mind. Whether you need to add it, skip it. Is it worth it? Not worth it? That's all I'm really trying to do. I'm going to have it anyways. Might as well go through it. See how much I like it. Show it off, I guess. Help somebody out. Yeah, I still think it's pretty cool. Going on my Marvel vs. Capcom stuff. Probably going to be my Spidey representing him. So, yeah. That's it for this review. As always, I hope it helped you out. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Later.